Alright there. Hey everybody, this is our third part in our series with Dolly. Dolly's a 4-year-old little mare, and she's a very high energy type horse, and so this is our third part in our series, and I believe this is part way through the second month for her training. She's wanting to be a little feisty here, so I'm working her with this flag. And my goal is to get her to see if I can get her to step away. See how I kind of shake that flag by her eye there. See if I can get her to step over and then roll over behind and get straight. So it's very important to learn how to operate this flag correctly. I think most people think of it as simply a kind of a desensitization tool, just a tool to sack your horse out with, but that's really not the intended use for the flag at all. It's a tool to help you teach your horse what to do with its feet. So the goal is to get your horse to respond to the flag properly. So there's a certain way that you're trying to get your horse to respond to you here, see. So I might put just a little bit of pressure there by her neck, her elbow, see if I can get her to step away. And you notice the way that she leaves there. Right there, it wasn't quite so bad. She didn't leave with all that braciness that she had before. There we go. Now I'll just allow her to stand and stand relaxed. Here we go. Check the other side out. Kind of be careful when you reach across like that. Make sure you've done both sides real well. Kind of allow her to leave. Here we go. See, I want the horse to respond with respect. First, you might need to get the horse to respond to you. That is, you need to get the feet to move somewhere. Somehow, some way, you need to get those feet to move. There's one thing that you want to prevent from happening at all costs, if you can, and that's that if you ask the horse to move his feet, that he wouldn't move his feet for you. You need to get those feet to move somehow. You have to get it to happen, and then eventually, see, the horse will respond with respect, and so that means that the horse is thinking about doing it when you think about asking them to do it. See, that's the difference. There we go. See, she's starting to get to where she's relaxed here. See, first they'll give in the feet and then they'll let down mentally. See, that's what's happening here. She's starting to lick her lips. Now I'll go ahead and do things like move the fronting away. See if you could just step away nice and easy and nice and smooth. So that's what I'm looking for. See, the idea is you don't try to work on sacking your horse out. That's kind of a beginner thing. You might think about, instead, get to where you can direct your horse's feet. When you direct your horse's feet, look what happens. They've gotten used to that flag. But look what they've learned in the meantime. They've learned all these things about where and when and how to place their feet. They start to let down and gain confidence in you. They begin to trust you because they learn to predict what you're going to do. The horse gains confidence in you as a person because they can predict what you're going to ask them to do. The same goes with their environment. When they can predict what's going to happen in their environment, they learn to gain confidence in that environment. So now it looks like we're transitioning into the saddle. So this, some of these rides that I've done with her, I've chosen to just ride her in a halter here, just a kind of a little natural horsemanship style of riding here. But it's just a little different than what some people are used to. See, I've just got a halter on, just as kind of a safety net, but then I've got this little stick, and sometimes I like to ride with a stick, and the importance here is to learn how to push to turn your horse. See, I'll do these little push turns, and so people have a tendency to pull their horse along, and you can't get anything done that way. You need to learn how to push your horse. So I'll kind of block right there and get it to look. See, it has nothing to do with pulling your horse around. It has to do with getting your horse to where you can direct their attention. See, I'll simply kind of block with that stick where I don't want to go, and then when she looks where I want to go, where I'm looking, whether it's at that ball or at that other side of the arena or at the barrel or wherever, when she looks where I wanted to look, then I'll take the pressure off and I'll allow her to go there. And that's the idea, and that's a fundamental ingredient that you need to have. People think it's just kick to go, pull to stop, use the reins to turn. But it's really not. It's really, there's a lot of ingredients that need to take place here. This is a fundamental ingredient to get to where your horse goes where you look. Sort of off a suggestion, off the power of focus. So can I focus on that ball and get her to pay attention to it? Sort of a dynamic little target. There we go, that little I think I'm going to try to get that little ball here. There we go. Just got a little step. That small ball is kind of hard to get there. Here we go. So I'm just trying to work on getting her to go straight. And then she might make a little turn, get crooked, so I'll ask her to go another way. I think I go ahead and kind of do just a little sideways motion. Figure I'm at the fence, I might as well just ask her to do something while I'm at the fence. There we go. Nice. Flip my rein around, we'll try the other way. Let me just practice with that rein on either side. There we go. So just practice this. You don't need to ride like this all the time, but this might be sort of a little interesting little challenge for you. Make sure your horse is kind of comfortable with that stick. You could maybe drive the horse with that stick around on the ground like that first. You could flip that rope over their head on the ground to make sure they're going to be okay with that ahead of time. There we go. So now let's see, because right now I'm blocking, see I'll put a little pressure on her nose, a little pressure on her hindquarters, a little pressure on her nose, a little pressure on her hindquarters. See if I can get her thinking about moving sideways here. Get her thinking about moving sideways. There we go. Give her some motivation here to step. There we go. See, instead of using a spur, I could just give her a little motivation there. I'll just squeeze with my leg, and then if it doesn't work, I'll put a little rhythm in my stick. There we go. Sometimes if you want to kick your horse, usually what that means is that you know you need to add rhythm. That's what you know you're missing. But instead of kicking the horse, you need to add something else. You need to add another pressure. So that little stick might be just what the doctor ordered, instead of going right to a spur. Spurs are to enhance lateral motion, to reinforce your leg and to aid in lateral movements. There we go. So a spur is just like a little stick on your foot. There we go. See if I can get her to push that ball. I just got one rein. Get her to push that ball. Can I direct her? There we go. I've got my other horse tied up in the back there. I think I just finished working her, so I like to tie her up and let her stand and learn some patience. She likes to paw quite a bit, so she looks like she's standing pretty quiet there today. Not all the time. There you go. I think in my next little segment here, I'm going to ride her in a snaffle bit and kind of show you some different things that I've been working on in the snaffle bit. So this is about 6 or 7 weeks or so. Me working with her just prior to her coming. She had only ever had like an English saddle, never been ridden, never had a bridle. She was pretty pushy on the ground. Her ground manners were fairly poor. She was kind of wanting to walk all over you to start with. Didn't really have much in the way of ground manners to speak of, I should say. But so we had worked on that quite a bit. But she's a real smart horse. She recognizes these things. I can trot a little figure eight. She starts to drop that head. That's nice. Good. You don't need gimmicks. So you can get these things done without gimmicks. Just with knowledge and understanding. The power of psychology. There we go. And communication. You have to understand what that horse is thinking about. So in the next video, I'll show you a little groundwork in the snaffle bit, and then some riding in the snaffle. So stay tuned for that.